Once upon a time,
I wish
in a far-off kingdom,
more than anything,
lived a fair maiden,
more than life,
a sad young lad,
more than joy.
I wish
and a childless baker
more than life.
I wish
with his
more
wife.
than anything.
more than the moon.
I wish
Into the Woods, an amazing dark comedy musical by Stephen Sondheim and James Lapine, sees a new inspiration from the Brothers Grimm. The story follows the baker and his wife as they wish to have a child. They have a visit from the witch next door who reveals that she put a curse on their family, and so they set off into the woods to undo the curse. Along the way, we meet Cinderella, who wishes to go to the King's Festival, Jack, who wishes his cow would produce some milk, Little Red Riding Hood who is off to visit her grandmother, as well as others including princes, wolves, a young woman in a tower, and many others. By the end of Act 1, everyone is quite content and has gotten their wish, and will seemingly live happily ever after. But in Act 2, when Jack's beanstalk brings them a visit from an angry giant, we see how the consequences of their actions haunt them in disastrous ways. The full character list in this musical is the witch, the baker, the baker's wife, Cinderella, Jack, Little Red Riding Hood, along with the narrator/mysterious man, Rapunzel, Cinderella's prince, Rapunzel's prince, Jack's mother, Florinda, Lucinda, Cinderella's mother, the wolf, giant, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and in the new 2022 Broadway version, a puppet, Milky White. The musical was produced in 1996 and was originally on Broadway from 1987 to 1989. There have since been 2 Broadway revivals in 2002 and 2022. The orchestration consists of 15 players and a conductor, that being flute that doubles as a piccolo, clarinet in B flat that doubles as clarinet in A, bassoon, horn 1 in F, horn 2 in F, trumpet in C, piano, synthesizer, percussion, violin 1, violin 2, viola 1, viola 2, cello and contrabass. There are 30 songs in the musical as listed here, though today I'll be looking at Agony and Agony Reprise and Your Fault. Now, this is your warning that there are spoilers ahead.
Did I abuse her or show her disdain? Why does she run from me?
Agony is sung by the 2 princes of the show, Cinderella's prince and Rapunzel's prince. It's first sung in Act 1 when the 2 talk about finding their true loves, Cinderella and Rapunzel. It's in E major in 6/8 or 6 quaver beats per bar and is played at a la barcarolle tempo or a moderate 6/8 tempo. It's a very smooth song that begins with the synthesizer and strings. Cinderella's prince sings piano or soft and quietly. Throughout the song, the melody, voice, has a repeated rhythm or variations of that rhythm with different lyrics. This comprises of a dotted quaver, a semiquaver, and 4 quavers within 1 bar, with variations including changing the last 3 quavers to a crotchet, and another having 3 quavers, a crotchet, and another quaver, amongst others. There's use of louder and softer dynamics, with crescendos and diminuendos throughout the song. The end of Cinderella's Prince's first section ends with a 1 bar time signature change to 9/8, which also introduces a flute. Let's have a listen to that first section of the piece.
Did I abuse her or show her disdain? Why does she run from me? If I should lose her, how shall I regain the heart she has won from me? Agony beyond power of speech, when the one thing you want is the only thing out of your reach.
Rapunzel's prince is very much the same or similar to Cinderella's, which is really important to note, and I'll get to that soon. The only major change here is the imitation of Rapunzel's R, which he sings dulce or sweetly, mainly for the comedic effect. There's also a trill played under this R that adds to the comedic sweetness of this line. After he sings, the 2 sing together, singing the chorus. There's a full sound here with strings, brass, and now added woodwind all playing together. But take a listen to the melody here.
Agony, oh, the torture they teach.
up on it? Both the princes are singing the same thing. There's no harmony part at all. They're singing the same notes and they continue this throughout the whole song.
Sensitive, clever, well-mannered, considerate, passionate, charming, as kind as I'm handsome and heir to a throne.
Another interesting part of this song is the use of the melodic minor scale, which is what you just heard. Here, Cinderella's prince is singing quavers in a stepwise motion, crescendoing through it. From bars 41 to 43, this is the E melodic minor scale starting on B, the 5th degree of the scale. After B, each note stays on the same pitch for 3 quavers until bar 44 where the quavers switch between A and B flat, a minor second interval which creates tension and adds to the untrustworthy character of Cinderella's prince. Then, again, in bar 45, the notes change up to switching between B and C sharp, creating a major second interval, creating more space and openness to the sound. And a similar thing happens with Rapunzel's prince, except he sings an F melodic minor scale starting on C sharp, which is also the 5th degree of the scale. Another change to Rapunzel's prince is that rather than going into minor and major second interval gaps, he once again continues his rather awful imitation of Rapunzel. Now, let's take a look at an annotated score version of Agony from Cinderella's Prince melodic minor scale until the end.
Am I not sensitive, clever, well-mannered, considerate, passionate, charming, as kind as I'm handsome and heir to a throne? You are everything maidens could wish for. Then why do I know?
The girl must be mad.
You know nothing of madness till you're climbing her hair and you see her up there as you're nearing her, all the while hearing her agony, misery, though it's different for each. Always 10 steps behind, always 10 feet below, and she's just out of reach. Agony that can cut like a knife. I must have her to wife.
Now let's look at Agony Reprise. This is now in Act 2 when the two princes come together again and sing for their new loves. 2 more helpless girls. The reprise is, like any reprise, the same. Same key, same time signature, same tempo, same rhythms, same or similar notes, just some changed lyrics and a significant change from the original. This change, I notice, comes hand in hand with the use once again of the melodic minor scale. I'm talking about bars 57 to 57. This.
Not forgetting the tasks unachievable, mountains unscalable, if it's conceivable but unavailable.
In bar 52, we hear what we heard with Rapunzel's Prince previously, that is, the F sharp melodic minor scale beginning on the 5th degree, C sharp. But bar 53 is where things begin to change. Cinderella's Prince continues on this scale where Rapunzel's restarts back to C sharp. They're both singing the same lyrics, but for the first time the two princes are singing different notes, creating a straining sound with a major third interval and then minor third intervals between each notes. It's very unexpected as it hasn't occurred between the two of them to sing separate notes in any song in the musical before when they're singing together like this. This comes to a climax when they both sing R's, but they sing different notes with different rhythms. It only goes for 2 bars, but these 2 bars are enough to create such a dissonant sound. The clashing notes sung at different times create what this musical is as a whole, chaos. Now let's listen to this section again with the score.
Not forgetting the tasks unachievable, mountains unscalable, if it's conceivable but unavailable.
Those 2 bars describe these 2 characters without even having to listen to the extremely concerning lyrics of these songs. They're bad characters. They think they're the best and all they want is a helpless woman to save, hence why we're here for the reprise. As much as the lyrics of these two songs are funny, they also reveal that these men just want a woman, one that they can possibly control. The reprise basically says that they've had enough of Rapunzel and Cinderella because they're no longer helpless, and so they've now found Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. And yes, we know that because the lyrics tell us that, but the music helps that. And that's why those clashing, dissonant two bars can be used to understand that these men don't have good intentions. They're not really good people, and that's what this musical explores. Now, talking about what this musical explores, Your Fault sums it up really well. It's the real climax of the musical. There's an angry giant going around destroying everything. The baker's wife has just died. Basically, half the characters have died or are about to, including the narrator. It's a descent into chaos, and so everyone starts blaming each other for all this bad stuff that's happened in Act 2. Your Fault is sung by Jack, Little Red Riding Hood, the Baker, the Witch and Cinderella and is in A flat major. It's in 2/4 or 2 crotchet beats per bar and starts slow on piano, clarinet and cello before accelerating to tempo, which is allegro where crotchet equals 132 when the vocal melody comes in. There's a continuous ostinato in this piece which helps drive it, and it's played through the changing of chords. There is a lot of quavers and semi-quavers in this piece, which makes this already fast tempo song feel even faster than it is. Much like Agony, the melody in Your Fault sees a lot of repeated rhythmic patterns, the main being 3 quavers and then 2 semi-quavers, with melodically the second quaver being a jump in notation compared to the rest. Variations of this include 2 semi-quavers, 2 quavers and 2 semi-quavers again, amongst others. Talking about the jumps in the song, this refers to the many throughout the piece that consist of major 6th, minor 6th and minor 7th intervals. If you listen here, you can hear it.
But it isn't my fault I was given those beats.
But there's more, even just little things that contribute to the chaotic feel of the song. For example here.
Wait a minute.
What's happening here is as the baker sings, strings also play at the same time. And what they play is quite different from the melody. Have a look here. The baker sings F sharp, E, D sharp, C sharp, descending, while some strings play D sharp, C sharp, B, A, also descending, and others play F sharp, D sharp, A, B, ascending. But what does this all create? Basically, that first semiquaver is a major 3rd interval. Pretty straightforward. But then the next is a C sharp minor chord. Not quite as straightforward. But then the 3rd, there's no way to knowing what it is. It's not really anything, it's just clashy. And then the 4th is somehow even more clashy. And all of this just fits into one crotchet beat in the whole fast-paced song. It's honestly crazy, but it's there for a reason. This song is so important to the plot. It may not seem like it, but it's what the narrator warned them of. Chaos. They don't know what will happen next. Anything could happen. And they've lost so much already that they need something to do, and that is to blame each other. And of course that doesn't help, but I'll leave it to you to watch the musical to see what happens. But it's really important to note that this song, specifically the musical techniques in it, reflect the chaos that is happening within the musical. Other compositional devices within this piece include the use of an octave fall on fault within the line of Your Fault.
See, it's your fault.
Or variations of something fault. Also, during bickering back and forth between characters rather than one character singing for a bit, the ostinato drops out and then returns later. Another section is when Jack is explaining what happened rather than blaming. There is a key change to G major and a change of instrumentation to woodblock, violin, viola and horn, which helps create a lighter and brighter sound before another change to D flat major, which changes the mood again as they start blaming each other. After this, there's a few more key changes, one to A major and then back to the original key of A flat major. Key changes are used to accompany changes of mood, which also creates more chaos of a constantly changing, unstable mood. The song ends with everyone, minus the witch, singing at once. Different rhythms, different notes at different times before coming to an end with all but the witch, singing the same thing at the same time, blaming the witch. In bar 87, before the four come together to sing, Jack sings Your Fault, but it's the first in the song where the interval between the your and the fault is not an octave and is actually a major seventh. And this happens again with the final two notes, Your Fault, ending on a minor third. This creates suspense, leaving the song without a closed finish and so leading into Last Midnight.
Into the woods, it's time to go. I hate to leave, I have to though. Into the woods, it's time, and so I must begin my journey.
In terms of reoccurring musical themes, Into the Woods has a few. The I wish motif, the be motif, but what I would like to focus on is Into the Woods, the lyric, and the music that accompanies that. Take a look at this. This is the first time Into the Woods is sung in the whole show, and it's by Little Red Riding Hood, and that's important to remember. The motif that is repeated throughout the show is 2 bars. In some cases it's only the 3 words, sometimes just the 1 bar, but the 2 bars here in terms of notation and the first 3 words, Into the Woods, comes back a lot. It's in E major here, but it's not always in this key. It is though always in 12/8 or 12 quaver beats per bar. There's a lot of use of quaver time signatures in this musical. As you can see here, I've broken down the intervals within the first bar. A major second, another major second, a minor third descending, a minor third ascending, minor third descending, a perfect fourth, and a perfect fourth descending. This is important to know because this is the motif. It's not the notes, but rather the intervals, hence we are able to hear the same motif repeated in different songs in different keys. The rhythm is always the same, or at least a variation of it, as seen here in green. Now let's listen to a few times when we hear this motif throughout the musical.
Into the woods, and who can tell what's waiting on the journey? Into the woods to bring some bread to Granny, who is sick in bed. Never can tell what lies ahead, for all that I know, she's already dead. But into the woods, into the woods, into the woods, to grandmother's house and home before dark.
Let's stop for a second and look at the Into the Woods we just heard. If you have a look here, you'll see that she is singing descending rather than ascending. But all it is she's singing backwards to what she sang before. Before she sang B flat, C, D, E flat, well now she's singing E flat, D, C, B flat. This is just a way to make a variation of this theme without really changing it that much, but it still sounds different. You can hear this version throughout the musical as well.
So into the woods, the time is now. We have to live, I don't care how. Into the woods to sell the cow, you must begin the journey. Straight for the woods and don't delay. We have to face the marketplace. Into the woods to journey's end.
To the woods, it's time to go. It may be all in vain.
Into the woods, into the woods, into the woods and out of the woods. And home before dark.
What you're hearing here now is a variation of the Into the Woods motif. It's played when Little Red Riding Hood appears again. Remember how she was the first to sing it? Yeah, so when she's now in the woods and runs into the wolf, the key is now in A major, and the crotchet quaver pattern after the first 3 quavers has now turned into 2 quavers with a quaver rest in between the 2. It's also played on trumpet, and though Into the Woods isn't actually sung, you can hear that it is the motif as it's the same intervals. Let's have a listen to some more examples.
Into the woods, into the woods, into the woods and out of the woods and home before.
Into the woods to have the child,
To wed the prince,
to get the money,
to save the house,
to kill the wolf,
to find the father,
to conquer the kingdom, to have to win, to get to save, to kill, to keep, to go to the festival. Into the woods, into the woods, into the woods and out of the woods.
To be continued.
and happy ever after.
Into the woods, the path is straight, no reason then to hesitate.
Into the woods, it's not so late, it's just another journey. Into the woods, but not too long, the skies are strange, the winds are strong. Into the woods to see what's wrong.
Into the woods to slay the giant.
Into the woods to shield the child.
Into the woods you have to grope, but that's the way you learn to cope. Into the woods to find there's hope of getting through the journey. Into the woods each time you go, there's more to learn of what you know. Into the woods, but not too slow. Into the woods is nearing midnight. Into the woods to mind a book, to heed the witch, to wonder the joy, to mind, to heed, to find, to think, to teach, to join, to go to the festival. Into the woods. Into the woods. Into the woods, but out of the woods. And happy ever after.
So that's Into the Woods, or at least 2 songs and a theme of it. There's so much more I could explore and talk about in this musical, but it would just take so much time. From the music, to the story, to the morals and themes, to the book ending where the show ends with the same 2 notes the melody started on, just an octave higher. It's a work of genius. There's so many layers to this musical that if you haven't seen it already, I encourage you to go watch it. The stage musical, not the movie. So thank you for watching this rather long video, and thank you to Stephen Sondheim and James Lapine for giving us this masterpiece.